And welcome back to RJB Starcraft Cast YouTube channel. And as the image already shows, today I have a game between tukkarandom, aka HamburgerSasu, against 1vs1zzzzz. And 1vs1zzzzz is someone. I honestly wasn't able to figure out who the guy is, but I saw a replay between these two players. Like, they played about 20 games in total over a span of like 5 or 4 days. And 1vs1zzzzz is a really good player. But it's truly a shame that I couldn't find out who it is. Anyway, here's playing the red Terran on the bottom left corner of the map. And HamburgerSasu is on the opposite side of the map, although on the same left side, top side. He's playing the Protoss for once. Most of the time he's playing the Terran. Or the Zerg, because, well, he likes to play Terran or Zerg against people to give them a chance, because he tends to pretty much always win on Protoss. At least against most players. Like, if he's playing against someone of his own level, of course, or someone who's a little bit better than him, of course, then he does tend to lose as Protoss sometimes. But it's not often. Not often whatsoever. So he starts off with a pylon, of course, saves up the minerals for the Nexus, which I just hit. There's the Nexus. And, of course, Barrack, Depot, Barracks. This one's gonna scoot up, just up, and make another one. Or it's going to scout. 50-50 chance, honestly. It's moving up, and there's 150 minerals almost on the board. There's a chance it's going to be Barracks. HamburgerSasu, 2 gateways, and of course a pylon inside of his choke, a little bit further away down here. As is tradition. Oh, he's not making that pylon. Alright. Both players trying to trick me a little bit. So 3 gateways coming out here. Quite early for 3 gateways. Considering they went for a +1 first, it's somewhat reasonable. And it just happens to work because 1vs1zzzzz went for 2 barracks instead of 3. So there's not going to be a lot of pressure that HamburgerSasu is going to be suffering from. Plus the distance is quite far away. So not much 1vs1zzzzz can do into HamburgerSasu. Unless he's going for very fast fire bats, which he probably is. Otherwise you wouldn't go for the very early gas and the academy in conjunction with each other. Marine has found the base of HamburgerSasu. Nothing there to intercept the Marine. The Marine is just going to try to harass it a little bit. There's a probe there. Probe scares the Marine away, but now the Marine turns on the probe. Probe gets pulled to safety. Another probe's going to have to get pulled to safety as well. There it goes. Marine is close to dying now. And Marine gets stuck inside of the probes there. Pretty good control though. Marine is miraculously still alive and manages to find its way out of the base. Cybernetic core is on the way. HamburgerSasu might be fishing for the early Dark Templar, maybe even Dragoons. Oh, there's so many options. I really love to see Dragoons because Dragoons tend to be a lot of fun to watch. Specifically because these players have amazing Dragoon micro. Considering he does not have the gas to get both Dragoons and Singularity Charge at the same time, I suspect it's going to be a Citadel of the Dune coming out now. After he places some cannons here inside of his choke, because he wants to protect himself. Don't take any risks is the mantra that's often preached. Although no cannon. It's a cybernetics robotics facility instead. Forge coming down just now. Of course he couldn't make cannons because he had no forge. I'm a little bit jumbled in my mind. But 2 firebats out here. Zealots getting chased away by the firebats and the Marines. Now the Marines pulling back. Doesn't want to throw them out into the fight just yet. Throwing down a factory. Second factory might be going down as well. Or this one is going to start a choke. There is no engineering bay yet. Second command center is on the way. No third command center. Still pumping from just 2 of those barracks. I don't think he has Marine range. But I think he's trying to fish for some offensive moves here with just those firebats and the stim upgrade on those Marines. Those cannons there are close to finishing, but not close enough. There's a lot of Zealots there though, and the Zealots might just be enough to fight into these units from 1vs1zzzzz. Although those firebats are getting a lot of AoE damage down on those Zealots. Actually, 1vs1zzzzz now microing backwards. He's sending a single firebat into the fray. The single firebat will manage to get in there. Fighter in the front, fight there in the back. HamburgerSasu blocking the Firebat. Firebat gets a shut off. Only 2 probes went down so far. The fighter in the front has seized because those cannons managed to stay alive thanks to those 3 zealots that just spawned over there. The Firebat has gone down. HamburgerSasu managed to keep the damage to his mineral line to a minimum, losing only 2 probes to the Firebat. Great little bit of control there. He did take down the entire zealot mass, so that attack on the front there is definitely worth it. Because it does remove some of HamburgerSasu's options. Like, he could have gone for a zealot speed double reaver frontal attack, but because he lost all of those zealots, that is no longer an option. He has to go for other options now. So 1vs1z managed to secure himself a little bit of a safer transition into the post 7-minute portion of the game. But shuttle is definitely on the way. No reavers inside those robotics just yet. So robotic support bay is finished. No shuttle speed being researched. He's going for weapons first. The zealot lags. He's still adding on zealots. But he's just biding his time. Just biding his time. Alright, 2 reavers now on the way. So he might still be trying to fish for the frontal attack, but 1vs1z is preparing himself for that really, really well. Finally started on infantry weapons as well. A couple of Marines there in the back. He doesn't have a lot of Marines. Just got 4 Marines inside of the bunker. 1 Marine just there standing. He does have a nice wall, but he's really not spending much at all. Alright, now he started spending Marines once again. SCV count on 31. 2 gases. Whereas HamburgerSasu on 44 probes already and adding on a 3rd gas now. And preparing for that very first frontal push with the double reaver and the zealot speed. Now imagine if 1vs1z hadn't gone for that frontal attack. This frontal attack here from HamburgerSasu would have been out about 20 seconds earlier because he got slowed down and delayed a little bit by having to pull off his probes. There's a Wraith there. Wraith is intercepting the shuttle. The shuttle will not arrive on the scene. He's gonna try it. He's gonna have to unload. Gonna have to manually walk. So once again, another intercept from 1vs1z, preventing the frontal attack here from HamburgerSasu, which gives 1vs1z a lot more time to just add on to his base, keep building, get bigger, and get all the countermeasures in place that he needs. Reaver slowly, very, very slowly dying to the Wraith, but I think the Reaver will stay alive once it reaches the cannon here and the Wraith gets forced away. Very slow process. Just gonna pick it up, make sure it stays alive. Good little bit of awareness. Wraith pulls back. Another Marine standing there to get vision. Another Marine standing here on the other side also to get vision. But also for the drop dodge on these gases or the mineral patch. And now he's got more shuttles on the way. He's just gonna load up a mass drop. I don't think... He's gonna load up a mass drop and you can either go for a drop here on the side or a drop right here behind the bunkers and get those Reavers to shoot on those bunkers there. Because there's almost no tanks inside of 1vs1z's base. Got 1 tank here in the back, no tanks here in the front. Got a couple of Marines placed here on either side to intercept drops. Or just intercept units that are being landed inside of his base. Tank drop is flying in. 1 tank unloads. Tank is not in range. He loads it back up. Doesn't want to waste it. Now he's just gonna use it for recon. Fly around the base. Probably look for... He knows there's no opening, so he's gonna probably land it on the hill here. Or he's just gonna fly it all the way back to his base. Landing it on the hill there. Just... Ooh, smart move from HamburgerSasu. Unloading the Zealot right on top. 1vs1z really nicely microing, picking up his own tanks with the dropships. Both players fighting against each other here with shuttle dropship control. And neither of the two loses any units in the process. Both did take some damage, but no units were lost. Alright, now the Dragoons coming into the fray. Dragoons ready to intercept the dropship. Dropship is not going to unload it. And 1vs1z winds up losing his 2 tanks. And 1vs1z has pretty much every single imaginable building or upgrade on the way simultaneously. He's been spending really, really well. 44 SCVs at this point, added on the 3rd command center and a 2nd scan. Bunkers here. Bunkers are amazing against Reaver drops because it takes a while for them to die and they can get a lot of damage down on those Reavers. And even if there's Templar in the mix and the Templar cannot storm on the SCVs and decides to storm on units, you've got 2 bunkers filled up protecting SCV Marines from storm damage. And we're now 9:40 into the game. HamburgerSasu has not been capable of landing or even throwing out a single punch so far. 1vs1z has been managing to intercept all of 1vs1z's attempts perfectly. But now this is quite a massive drop here. It's 6 shuttles all loaded up to the brim. And Marines now stimming up, ready to intercept the shuttles. 1 shuttle goes down, but all shuttle unloads. Wait, 2 shuttles went down there. He managed to unload a Reaver, but the Reaver went down. He still has 2 Reavers loaded up inside of those shuttles. He managed to unload the Reaver right next to the SUV there, but no shot goes off. 1vs1z handles that drop like a boss. Handles it like a boss. Manages to snipe 3 of those shuttles before they manage to unload all of their units. Meaning that the Marines there on the low ground were not threatened by Scarabs or Zealots all that much. Of course, they're flying into its death. HamburgerSasu on 79 probes, fire 4 gas, and he's got another drop loaded up here, but there's no Corsair to... Alright, the Corsair finished up. Now we can assist those shuttles into the fray, into 1vs1z's base. He's got a single armory, so upgrades will be going up a little bit slowly. There's the second one coming in. There's his science facility here on the bottom side. He's just gonna get EMP upgrade and probably lift it up over the hill. Get himself some additional vision and save some space inside of his base. 4th factory on the way as well. Armor and then vehicle weapon upgrades are on the way. Armor for Marines though. Still pumping Marines from those 5. He knows that there's a drop coming from this side most likely because he used his scan and he sees that there's nothing on the other sides. What did he scan? He scanned the side there, very smart. Scanned both sides, he knows a drop is coming. Now HamburgerSasu, knowing he has probably been scanned, is just waiting a little bit longer. He's going to go for 2 drops at the same time, forcing 1vs1z to focus on 2 separate locations at the same time, just like he's forcing me to focus on 2 separate locations. And 1 drop is just there to be a distraction. 1 drop is here to go for the minerals. Actually gets a beautiful bunch of storms off. Something about at least 25 supply here for 1vs1z on the bottom side of his base, but he doesn't really get any results down. He might as well have dropped those Zealots here on the low ground and cleared out all of these turrets, but he was focusing on 2 separate locations at the same time, which is pretty difficult if you're trying to drop. Difficult for both players, but they managed to do it, but no damage dealt by HamburgerSasu. Sniping some units, another drop comes flying in. 1vs1z responds. He's going to try to snipe the shuttle. 1 shuttle makes it through. 1 shuttle is in range of it. He dodges the storms. Both storms get dodged. No SCVs lost whatsoever. A couple of SCVs dying to the Zealots now, though. And there's an Archon there, too. The Archon goes down. A couple of tanks went down. Turrets here on the top side also going down for HamburgerSasu, but 1vs1z hanging in there like a boss. Has not been damaged whatsoever at all this entire game. Aside from losing this, a couple of units here. But he's doing a really well job. A really good job. And if he holds on for just a little bit longer and starts adding on a couple more factories, he can go for the counter push in about 4 minutes or so. At least that's my estimation. But I think he's going to try to camp out for a little bit longer. Another drop flying in over the bottom side of the map. He's landing Dragoons up on the hill here to fire on the tank and distract. And this shuttle will make it in all the way. Now he's focusing on the shuttle. Shuttle's chasing the SCVs. 4 or 5 Templars coming down on those SCVs. And he manages to dodge pretty much all the storms there. Although he managed to dodge all of them. He lost about 10 SCVs, but he managed to dodge all of the storms. Are there still any storms in there? No storms. There was 5 storms in total, and none of them managed to really hit home or hit the target that he aimed for. But another drop has already been loaded up. 5 shuttles filled up with, again, 4 Templars and probably a bunch of Zealots as well. He's flying in, and this time he's going to try to go for a different route. And 1vs1z is not responding. That means there's now 4 Templars ready to storm. He managed to dodge the first storm. Is there a second storm coming down? Second storm also gets dodged. No 3rd or 4th storm are coming down. He's loading up the Templars. He's now just going to focus on those workers there on the low ground while hiding the shuttle here on the bottom side. 1vs1z cannot produce anything whatsoever at the moment. And those Templars are still in there. Gets a storm off on some Marines. Still 1 more Templar inside of that shuttle. Doesn't get to unload it. Shuttle goes down before the SUVs make it back to their destination, the mineral patch. HamburgerSasu really showing some great stuff. And the constant droppage is managing to keep 1vs1z rather small, because 1vs1z has been dwindled down to 130 supply. His mineral income is still quite low. HamburgerSasu on 92 probes. That's a lot of minerals he's getting. But he's spending it up pretty much instantly. All of it. Because his minerals almost never go above 1k. While he's non-stop attacking with these shuttles. And loading up as well. And drop makes it in. There's pretty much no units on the bottom side of the base here for HamburgerSasu. For 1vs1z. HamburgerSasu now managing to unload. He dodges the storm, but the second storm manages to take down another 15 of those SCVs. And the Zealot's now clearing ground. More SCVs here on the bottom side getting stormed. That's another 12 going down. So 1vs1z now down to 34 SCVs. And HamburgerSasu really getting results now. He's really managing to deal some really painful blows to 1vs1z. And he's already prepared another drop, another mass drop. He's loading these mass drops up so quickly and sending them out so quickly. It's quite insane. This level of multitasking. Right, drop comes in. It makes it all the way through to the main SCVs get pulled out the minerals, but the storm kills pretty much everything that he had. Only 10 SCVs left, 22 minerals, and he's got the upgrades for HamburgerSasu are also quite well. 1-1-2 against 1-1. The upgrades are about an equal level, although the weapon superiority for HamburgerSasu is really showing here because he killed a lot of the ground force here for HamburgerSasu. Killed the bunker as well. Archon being morphed. Archon goes down. And here another drop already flying in for HamburgerSasu. I can totally understand why people cannot seem to beat his Protoss, because 1vs1z started out extremely well, doing all the right things, denying HamburgerSasu any offensive moves for the first 10 minutes. And then HamburgerSasu just spams out massive drops, and keeps 1vs1z on his toes to a degree where 1vs1z cannot even do something anymore, because all he's doing is pulling his SCVs off, sending his Marines back to his main to kill units being dropped, and by the time he's cleared it out, the next one is already flying in. This is peak pressure in a PvT. Peak pressure. Honestly, it is. So yeah, let's head into the next game. Should I throw up the image? Ba-ba! There it is. Tukka versus 1vs1z, although it probably looks like 1v51z, or maybe it looks like an L. I should have picked another font. Anyway, let's load up the next game. I hope I don't forget to remove the image by the time the game is loading up. It happened once, and I'm not going to let it happen again. Alright, so game number 2 will be a Terran versus Zerg, with 1vs1z on the Terran, and HamburgerSasu on the Zerg. And we don't see a lot of TVZ from the absolute top level of fastest map players from Korea all that often, because they tend to just pick PvZ, PvP, or PvT. TVZ doesn't happen all that often. I don't have a lot of TVZ replays at all. A lot of Western TVZ replays though, so I might throw a couple of them up on the channel in the near future. Just for some variety, because TVZ is honestly a fun matchup. And I know that HamburgerSasu has a really creative Zerg. He can, because his multitasking is so good, and his speed basically is also so damn good, and his micro is honestly pretty much on a pro player level. He can really do amazing stuff if he gets to pull off his strategy with a Zerg. And pretty much once he gets the upper hand, he will never give that away. So 1vs1z really has to... Can 1vs1z match that? Can 1vs1z match the potential pressure from HamburgerSasu, or will he falter and crumble under the weight of HamburgerSasu's dominance? 1v1z, start off with a barracks, depot. HamburgerSasu starting off with a non-choke Zerg, making that hatchery inside of his base. And anyone from Starcraft world might be familiar with this build, because it's a build that Thanks happens to do a lot. But Thanks is nowhere near the level of HamburgerSasu, so I'm quite curious to see how HamburgerSasu pulls this one off. Because one for Thanks tends to not work all that often against players of a way lower level. And HamburgerSasu is also playing quite risky here, going for a double hatchery before he makes the pull. And 1vs1z still going for that double barracks, not going for a third one. He's once again opting for a very fast and early academy. So early fire bats and early medics, early stim upgrade as well. He finds the Overlord there. So he knows that HamburgerSasu is probably located somewhere on the left side of the map. He's just going to completely ignore the right side. And he's already sending all of his Marines and his SUV into that middle spot, where HamburgerSasu does not have his pool finished yet. He does have 3 larvae opened up to start making the Zerglings. Pool finishes. And he's pulling his drones away. I think he's going to try to micro them around those Marines and kill those Marines. 1vs1zzz lets himself get surrounded, but he only managed to kill 2 of those drones. The third one going down now is going... 4 of those drones have gone down. And this is pretty much the biggest risk you take when you go for that very, very late pool as the Zerg. And you have to hit back really, really hard with that mass Zerglings that he's now making, although he's making 6 drones first. And he's relying on just 6 Zerglings there to deal some counter blows. And it's honestly, those 6 Zerglings will suffice for now. Stim upgrade is now on the way. 2 medics are on the way, but there's only 2 barracks making Marines or medics, or, well, making bio. So he did get delayed a little bit. He's now making the factories out of his choke. And the machine shop will then add on here, and there will be a very small window for HamburgerSasu to move his units in through. HamburgerSasu finds the location, but he knows that he cannot go in thanks to this factory, but also because of the fact that he only has 6 Zerglings. He didn't mind any gas, because, well, he got hurt pretty badly. It's going to actually it's going to take a miracle for HamburgerSasu to make his way back into this game, because he's pretty far behind on 1vs1zzz. Because HamburgerSasu losing those 4 drones, losing that mining time earlier, put him down behind a lot. Although he did manage to recover quite well thanks to the double hatchery that he added on. But he had to cancel a hatchery. And lost some drones. Had to make drones instead of Zerglings. Had to delay his gas, so his gas is really, really late. But it also means that he cannot go for the Zergling speed. He's going for Zergling speed. But there's firebats already here for 1vs1zzz. He did manage to cancel the machine shop there. So that's a great pickup for HamburgerSasu. The machine shop now has been restarted. There is no engineering bay. He's now making a bunker at his main. Defensive move, smart. As you can see, there's a very tiny little hole here for units to go through. And 1vs1zzz now going for the offensive move. He's going to manage to take down... Ooh, Overlord barely makes it out alive. Just a single second more, and these Stint Marines would have taken it down. Because you could see that 122 HP that it lost within the span of a second. Quick reaction from HamburgerSasu. Great pull. Lair on the way. He's making a lot of Zerglings now. Zergling speed is about to finish up. He's going to have to get some sort of insane surround on those Marines and those firebats. But those firebats are really throwing a wrench into the potential of those Zerglings, because he's going to have to try to go for a run-by or pull them all up, and he's going to have to wait for 1vs1zzz to make a grave, huge mistake. Engineering bay now there on the way, siege mode and siege tank on the way as well. He's more Marines and medics are on the way there. He's trying to sneak past the front, but 1vs1zzz knows exactly what HamburgerSasu is up to, so 1vs1zzz blocking the front here. Both players are playing at insane APMs here. 450. 400. That's madness. And I know that is not any spam. I know it's not spam because these players are playing at like 270 EAPM most of the time. Most of the time. Well, the Zergling is now spreading out. He's going to try to get behind those Marines there. He's going to try to sneak through, but 1vs1zzz responding really well and manages to kill pretty much all of them. He's going for the tank now. The tank is going to go down. A couple of Zerglings are left alive. Zerglings are going to try to sneak into the base for 1vs1zzz, but 1vs1zzz has a bunker there in the back. He's mostly just going to have this factory threatened here, but he already has enough units to go for the push here. You can even now just push in, stim up, go for the Sunkens. Tank in the back there, going to get focused down by those Zerglings, but you can just go in. You can just go in and snipe these Sunkens down, because these units are balled up here, very strong, supported by 6 medics. Marines dying now though, but the tank comes rolling in. Tank has free fire on those drones. He's going to go for the drones. Load up. Drones get a shut off. And there's another side. The other side is just outside of the range of the tank. But he can use the tank, just fire on the Sunken now. A couple of Marines still alive. A lot of units are about to be spawning. More Fire Bats Marines are rendezvousing with the group. And the tank's now going to go down. Did 1vs1z spread himself too thin? Or is HamburgerSasu about to yield here and fall under the pressure? Firebat goes in. Firebat gets shot off on the drones. Ooh, he killed no drones. Drones barely left alive. There's not a Firebat here. Firebat's going to go in on those drones when he can. But now Lurkers have finished up. 1vs1z pulls back. Turrets here providing protection. But those Lurkers can go up a little bit close because those turrets only provide protection up until this range. About this far. Well, a little bit further probably. This. Anyway, oh, he gets another shot off all those drones, but the drones staying alive because the drones have a natural killing factor. Drones still alive, barely though. And it took a miracle, but HamburgerSasu has managed to hold on, stay alive. And given that 1vs1z lost his factory there, he's going to have to rebuild 2 factories, which gives HamburgerSasu the opportunity to just get big. Mass up those Lurkers, mass up those Zerglings, mass up drones, get bigger, buy himself time, and go for the hive. 1vs1z. Does he have a scan? Has no scan, but he's got a vessel on the way. 2 vessels, in fact, and he's now adding on a lot more factories. He's going to ball up his units here in the middle of the map. Wait for those medics to rendezvous with the Marines. 4 medics there. But pretty much no energy on those medics. Medics can't really do any healing. Alright, he sees... Oh, is he going to lose his units to those Lurkers? Oh, he knows that there's Lurkers now because HamburgerSasu unburrowed one. But there was no scan, no vessel. 1vs1z, he's just going to wait for the vessel and play it safe. He's now spreading out his Marines. Trying to make sure that his Marines don't instantly die to the Lurker AoE damage. Gonna wait. Oh, these couple of Marines there. Going a little bit too close. And he goes in. But his Marines pretty much instantly die to the Lurkers. That was a really, really, really bad idea. And I think HamburgerSasu is now feeling really confident because he's got a hive on the way. Meaning that he's going to have Lurker Swarm up very, very soon. He's now adding on more Hydralisks. He's got pretty much no gas left, so he's going to have to add on another round of Zerglings or drones. A couple more Hydralisks are on the way. He's now adding on a 3rd and a 4th gas. Hive almost finished up. But 1vs1z is not planning on giving him any time. He's got this hive facility finished. He's got Radiate finished as well. And HamburgerSasu is now going for the counter push. Tanks are on the way for 1vs1z, but HamburgerSasu is putting the pressure right back on 1vs1z, and he sieges up a little bit too far out, and that siege tank is gonna get focused down by the Lurkers and the Hydralisks, and it looks like HamburgerSasu has managed to win this game on the counter push unless he can keep these tanks in the back there alive. No way he's gonna keep them alive. Lurkers have unburrowed. Lurkers are now moving into right in between those factories. Factories are no longer safe. Factories can no longer produce anything. But the moment something spawns, it's gonna get taken down by those Hydralisks and those Lurkers. HamburgerSasu pretty much does the impossible. More units are on the way. 2 vessels landing inside of HamburgerSasu's base. HamburgerSasu has the burrow upgrade finished, meaning those drones will stay alive. Only 2 of them are going down, and 1vs1z yields. Or so I assume, because there's no chance in hell that he's going to make it out alive here. He's dead. I mean, he's still alive, but he's technically dead. Omae wa mou shinderu. And yeah, it's going to take a couple minutes, or maybe a couple seconds, before 1vs1z lets his ego out of the way and calls the GG and surrenders. HamburgerSasu microing Hydralisk deeper and deeper, gets the bunker. Bunker goes down. There's nothing left there to protect 1vs1z, and 1vs1z leaves the game and loses game number 2. HamburgerSasu now up 2-1, 2-0 over 1vs1z. And HamburgerSasu really showing that miracles can happen. Because that was nothing short of a miracle there. That was nothing short of a miracle. Honestly, it was. Time for game number 3. Let's just gonna let that game sink in. That was all over the place. All over the place. Now, game number 3 is going to be 1vs1z on the Protoss and HamburgerSasu on the Terran. So prepare yourself for potentially some amazing Terran and some amazing Protoss from 1vs1z. Because I do think that he has the upper hand in his specific matchup, although with HamburgerSasu you never know. Because his ability to just do absolute bonker stuff is always there. It's always that threat of absolutely doing bonker stuff. Because if you give HamburgerSasu a finger, he'll not only take your hand or your arm, he'll take all of you. Never give him even the slightest bit of an advantage. Because the moment he has an advantage, it snowballs out of control. There's no way to come back. No way to come back. As we saw there, HamburgerSasu was behind by a lot. He managed to crawl back into the game with the slightest of advantages imaginable. Honestly, the slightest of advantage imaginable, because 1vs1z let himself lose his factory. And that honestly snowballed out of control. Because then he had no tanks to fight against those Hydralisks and those Lurkers and the Zerglings HamburgerSasu still had after that attack. Anyway, let's focus on game number 3. Brown Protoss, 1vs1z, middle left of the map, starts off with 2 gateways and a pylon, not inside of his choke, but inside of his base. HamburgerSasu starting off with 2 barracks, pretty much the same build 1vs1z did when he was Terran. So both players really confident in their Marine micro, knowing that they can stick to just 2 barracks and early gas and early academy if they want to hold an enemy attack in the early game, or even go for aggressive turn moves. They know they can do it with only 2 barracks, whereas most players would opt for 3 barracks. These 2 players want none of that. They want it risky. You call it overconfidence, or you just call it straight up knowing that they can do it. I think it's the latter, not the former. But let's see if this is going to work out for... I can already see this going quite bad for HamburgerSasu. Unless HamburgerSasu managed to get a very early firebat out on those probes, I don't see this working for HamburgerSasu, because 1vs1z is making a cybernetic score here, and he's doing one of those standard, very early Dragoon builds. At least that's what it's looking like. I think it's a very early Dragoon build. Cybernetic score close to finishing. HamburgerSasu now sees the cybernetic score. He knows what's going to be happening. But these zealots here from 1vs1z already moving up on those Marines. Micros them pretty well. Marines get microed as well too. Still 2 Marines go down. Zealot stays alive. So that's 1 Zealot for 2 Marines. 100 minerals for 100 minerals. So that's somewhat worth it. Somewhat worth it. Now 3 Zealots moving in. HamburgerSasu micros, he kills the first he's focused on the weak Zealot. Keeps that Marine alive, but the Marine's gonna go down once it hits that porch. Ooh, actually, he stays alive. The SCV goes down, barrack gets cancelled, stim upgrade is on the way, medics are on the way as well. HamburgerSasu is keeping his Marines all the way in the back there. And 1vs1z pulls his Zealots back. A pylon over there. He's gonna make another pylon here. Just make sure that HamburgerSasu cannot go for a cheeky cheeky barrack and lift it over the hill. He's still going to try it with this one though, because that's the only reason he's moving it down to the bottom side here. He's going to make a barrack somewhere in this area, lift it over, and try to go for a firebat rush on those probes. But given that 1vs1z already has those Dragoons out, and more Dragoons on the way, and Dragoon range on the way as well, and HamburgerSasu has only stim upgrade, no range, no bunkers, which is the biggest mistake, I think, in this situation. Not going for bunkers. But he has firebats. But those firebats, not that amazing against Dragoons, because Dragoons can micro really well against firebats. There, Dragoons. Oh, he's adding on. He added on another gateway, adding on a 5th gateway as well. He finds the SCV on the bottom side here. SCV is gonna go down, I assume, before it manages to finish the barrack, alright? HamburgerSasu saves the SCV, doesn't kill the barracks, because he thinks he can still do it. Barrack stays alive. He should cancel it. That's 150 minerals that he can save on. And HamburgerSasu now might be feeling pretty screwed. Or he's feeling amazing because he knows he can do this. But that's 6. Ooh, he goes in right before Singularity Charge finishes. He's got HamburgerSasu going on the offensive here. He's going to try to sneak those firebats through. but more Dragoons have spawned here for 1vs1z. 1vs1z has Singularity Charge almost finished, but HamburgerSasu is also waiting for the Marine range upgrade. HamburgerSasu goes in, Firebat's taking the brunt force of the damage. Zealots have gone down. That's only 6 Marines there against 10 Dragoons, and more Dragoons are on the way here for 1vs1z. He's going for a 2-gas Maroon. Alright, that's smart. Putting an SCV back on that barracks the moment that path opened up. He's got bunkers now in the front. He's got Marine range as well. But this is a lot of Dragoons, and he can honestly just go in, take down a bunker. Has no repair. Now he can take down those Marines. He can just micro his way in there. HamburgerSasu at the same time has lifted up his barrack over the hill. He's going to try to sneak those Firebats in. And the second bunker goes down. Marines inside that bunker go down as well. And 1vs1z has pretty much won the game at this point, because there's no way that HamburgerSasu can make this out alive. With 7 Dragoons inside of his base, 8 Dragoons, and more Dragoons on the way. Firebat here on the way as well. This Firebat might actually kill a couple of probes if he reacts fast enough and sends it into the fray. But he's dead here anyway, so he's gonna trade probes. I think he just wants to kill those probes before he leaves. Probes down. Boom, more probes down. That Firebat is wreaking havoc. And at the same time here, HamburgerSasu is dying. He's pulling off all of his SCVs, but his Dragoons get microed really well. So they're stepping backwards, getting pulled to the back. And he doesn't even have the micro anymore, because there's just so many Dragoons. Too many Dragoons for those SCVs to handle. SCVs only deal 5 damage. Not that great as 1 armor on Dragoons by default, so they deal 4 damage. Let's see. He lifts up his barrack. He lifts up the command center. He's gonna lose the command center because, as you know, Dragoons can attack air units. And yeah, HamburgerSasu leaves the game without calling a GG. And game number 3 goes to 1vs1z. HamburgerSasu, taking way too many risks. Way too many risks. This is pretty much the riskiest Terran I've ever seen. Fully aware of the build that 1vs1z is doing. He was fully aware. He knew. He saw everything. He saw the Dragoons pretty early. Even inside his Cybernetics core, he saw the gas. All the signs were there, but HamburgerSasu ignored all of them. Yeah. Let's put the image again. Go for game number 4. Scores now 2 wins for HamburgerSasu, a single win for 1vs1z. Can 1vs1z turn this series around? You will see in the next game. 1vs1z is on the Protoss. HamburgerSasu is on the Zerg. Which should honestly be in favor of 1vs1z. But HamburgerSasu can sometimes pull off absolutely insane Zerg versus Protoss moves. Sometimes, not always. Because honestly, those insane moves he can at times pull off kind of rely on risking stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of risk involved in HamburgerSasu's play. And yeah, if risking something doesn't work out, you more or less tend to lose by default. The 1vs1z has already proven himself to be quite a capable player who you cannot risk against. But likewise, neither can 1vs1z risk against HamburgerSasu. So both players gonna have to play absolutely solid. No mistakes. Absolute perfection. Right, he's going for the choke, because he knows that on this specific spot, it is wiser to choke as the Zerg, instead of going for a non-choke Zerg against the Protoss. So he's going for a safer gameplay this time around, not going for the risk. He's making his pool before his Overlord. And he hasn't even started his Overlord yet. There's the Overlord. So hatchery, pool, drone, Overlord. It's a really late Overlord. But it should give him just enough minerals a little bit earlier for the +1 hatchery that's going to do now. He's going to place it there, not there, over there. Well, that's 2 hatcheries he's got on the way now. 1vs1z started with a 4 gateway build. That's some spicy stuff. Really spicy stuff. He's scouting just the chokes, assuming that HamburgerSasu went for a choke. And he assumed correctly, because now he's finding it, found it, goes in. He's gonna scout the base. 3 larvae have been saved for HamburgerSasu. He's making 6 circlings. Well, 3 larvae for 6 circlings. There is... Oh, I thought it was something else. Alright, so sunken. Got another sunken. He's trying to get another sunken down, but it's repeatedly being denied by that probe. But there are the zerglings. Probe gets microed out of the way. Sunken is gonna go down. It's gonna come up. It's gonna finish. And there's 8 zerglings now out for HamburgerSasu. They're all spreading out over the map, sending them in every single direction. But he pulls them back because he saw those 2 zealots and he doesn't want those 2 zealots to enter the base. And those 2 zealots are just focusing on the zerglings. Zealots get pulled back. 4 more zealots are on the way. There's a forge now on the way as well. HamburgerSasu now adding on a 3rd hatchery. And a single sunken. He's playing this quite risky. But if you can micro really well, you can take more risks, theoretically speaking. But because of their micro ability, they're not risks. Right, so he's gonna go for the frontal pylon there. Gonna try to box HamburgerSasu in and go for the Reaver push on the front. But HamburgerSasu is not planning on letting it happen. He's already throwing down 2 creep colonies in front of his hatchery there. Once those 2 finish, the range should be about this. This should be their range, roughly. He managed to snipe the probe. And he's gonna manage to take down the can. No, the can barely stays alive. But now that means that there's a lot of zealots here. For 1vs1z, but 1vs1z decides against going in. These 2 sunkers are gonna finish up. He's gonna have to cancel that can, and the cans are gonna go down. Zealots get forced back. The Reaver Expo gets denied. He's got a single gas on the way now. There's a Cybernetic core on the way here as well. More zealots rendezvousing on the middle. It's gonna become 4 gateways still. And he's now throwing his pylon up, further up. But now there's 6 sunkens here. Well, 4, 2 are still being morphed. HamburgerSasu has not started the gas. He's completely relying on just delaying 1vs1z with those zerglings. And there's the gas finally coming up. Now going for overlords. Right, 1vs1z now going on the offense because he knows he's got a lot of zealots balled up here. And HamburgerSasu wasted a lot of his zerglings, which now gives 1vs1z the overhand here because those zealots can just go in, keep hammering away on those sunkens. The zealots, zerglings will not do a lot of damage, but back to the sunkens there that got finished up, really helping out massively here. Gonna take out this sunken as well, but 2 sunkens remain alive. 2 more drones got pulled up. 2 more creep colonies have been thrown down. That last zealot goes down as well. The cannons here are on the way. Robotic facility is on the way as well. HamburgerSasu is going to try to micro his way around those zealots and go for the probe, but he fails to do so, so he goes back to his hatchery and waits for another chance. This cannon is going to finish up. Bug field is going to finish as well. Another gas has been finished as well inside of his base. He's now making another pylon there. He's going to make a lot of gateways there as well. That's a lot of as wells I'm using. A lot of as wells. Right, so these cannons here in the front are going to get harassed. But HamburgerSasu sees that he cannot stay in there for any longer without losing those zerglings, so he pulls back. He's once again trying to pull the same move. Taking sunkens here in the front, denying the cannon, but the cannon is already too far through, and the zealots are too high in number. He's making a row of 4 now. Alright, row of 3 and 1 in the front. He tries to go in, but the cannon is protected too well. Too many cannons there in the back as well. Second robotic facility coming down for 1vs1z. There's a robotic support bay inside of his base. He's pulling off a pretty well game, but HamburgerSasu is showing some really good stuff as well. HamburgerSasu is honestly spreading himself too thin. Now adding on his 4th hatchery, 6 minutes into the game. He's got a lair on the way, a single gas that he's mining from, but he's got 31 drones. 31 drones, and there's hatchery number 5. 6. Hatchery number 6. Excuse me. This one is number 6. Alright. So Zolder got Reavers on the way. But the fact that he's got 37 drones now means he's absolutely massive economically. But there's already a shuttle out for 1vs1z. 1vs1z is going to put his zealots around here, and then he's going to shuttle them over. And there is a Hydralisk stand on the way, but it has not finished. He's now making Zerg creep colonies because he sees this shuttle with this overlord. But now that means there's 4 zealots inside of his base, uncontested. He is not yet making Hydralisks. He's now making Hydralisks. Hydralisk takes some time. Means that a couple of those drones are gonna be threatened, or at least pull off the minerals. None of them are going down. He's now just focusing on the Sunken. These Sunkens are gonna go down because there's 4 more Zealots there in the mix. Managed to take down a single Sunken. Now he's regrouping with the Zealots. Not staying in there any longer. He could have honestly taken down this Sunken as well, completely uncontested. But he decides against doing it. He decides against doing that because he wants those Zealots alive. For these 2 Reavers, he's going to shuttle over on the next wave. He's got more shuttles on the way. More Zealots on the way as well. He's got Zealot lags on the way now too. Alright, now he's going to go for, there's at least 20 Zealots and 2 Reavers. He's going to try to get some real damage down here on HamburgerSasu. He goes in, the Reavers not killing all that much. Sunkens go down. Zealots going down as well. There's a couple of Hydralisks there in the back, but Hydralisks not getting the chance to really fire on anything because they don't have any upgrades. Hydralisk range upgrade just finished up. But those Reavers are in range of the drones, and those drones could pull off the minerals. Drones pulled away to safety, but now the lair is in danger. Sunken there in the back. Reavers shooting not all that much. He managed to pick up the Reaver, keep it alive. And the Reaver might go down to those Hydralisks, and honestly, it looks like HamburgerSasu has managed to pull his way through. Yes, miraculously managed to pull his way through. But more units are on the way. Another 8 Zealots have been loaded up. He's going to unload them right on top of the lair here. And they're going to keep HamburgerSasu pushed into the corner a little bit longer. Although his drones are safe. He's mostly just losing Zerglings. Mostly just losing Hydralisks on the low ground here. And those 4 Zealots are tearing through those bio units from HamburgerSasu really, really well. Amazingly well. He's now making Scorches to combat those shuttles. But there's 5 shuttles here on the middle of the map. And Dragoons now on the way as well. 2 Zealots still there on the side. 4 Scorches. At most he will take down 2 shuttles. But now he's on 41 drones in total. He's been droning up simultaneously because he lost about 10 drones there. But now on 41. Once again, he can make another wave of Hydralisks very soon. But he's getting supply stuck. He's getting supply stuck. He's got no Overlords on the way. Not a gas on the way there on the bottom side. 2 Reavers have finished up. 2 more Reavers are... I assumed 2 more Reavers will be on the way, but they are not. They're just going to load up all those shuttles, and... now HamburgerSasu is going to feel the pain of being supply stuck. Although he does have a lot of Scorches on the side, on all sides. And honestly, if he responds quick enough, he can take down 4 or 3 of those shuttles before they get to unload. And he responds, but 1vs1zzzzz manages to micro his way around. Alright, he took down a single one. And all of the rest get to unload, and that means that HamburgerSasu is now dead. Dead. And all because he got supply stuck there. All because he got supply stuck. If he hadn't gotten supply stuck, if he had 2 Overlords, he could have made at least 10 or 20 Hydralisks to combat this. But now there's nothing. There's only drones on the low ground. There's no gas left. He's now making Hydralisks, but the Hydralisks are going to be out way too late because the lair has gone down. And drones going down now as well. He's got 19 drones left. Absolutely devastating drop here. Great play from 1vs1zzzzz, but that one honestly came down to HamburgerSasu neglecting the need for Overlords for just a little bit too long. Just a little bit too long. He assumed he was safe, but he wasn't. And 1vs1zzzzz already had 3 Templars finished up, ready to load up into the next wave of shuttles that he hadn't queued up yet. He had just 1 queued up. But that drop will be coming out very soon, and he could honestly also just go for the frontal attack sooner or later. He played all of this on a single Nexus, so that's really well played on a single Nexus build. You don't often see PvZ on a single Nexus, but he did it. He managed to do it. Great play from 1vs1zzzzz. And that means it's now time for game number 5, because the score has been equalized. It's now 2-2. So let's get the next game on the way between HamburgerSasu and 1vs1zzzzz. I think I picked a series that is way too long, but I'll make it through. Alright, another Protoss versus Terran between 1vs1z and HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu's on the Terran, 1vs1z is on the Protoss. I don't know who decided to pick these races, because in a long series they often tend to alternate, but this time they're not alternating. Not sure what the rules are, but HamburgerSasu, cyan or teal, olive green, whatever it is, teal. I assume it's teal. On the teal Terran on the top right of the map against 1vs1z on the bottom middle of the map, playing the purple Protoss. I'm just gonna speed up the early game a little bit, ×4, just to get through the early stage until we see something of importance. So we start off with the +1 Nexus on this side. HamburgerSasu starting off with 2 barracks once again. Pylon in the choke, well, almost in the choke. Gateway, forged, and we've reached the 2-minute mark. HamburgerSasu is scouting just chokes. He saw the probe there, so he didn't scout this spot. He just went straight for this one. 2 cannons there in the front. So that means he's already safe from a frontal attack from HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu decides against damaging the cannons with his SCV. Instead he's just catching himself some information, which is crucial. Knowing what your opponent does gives you so much room to do whatever you want to do, because you can adapt if you know what's coming, or if you know how much time and room you have to do your stuff. So 2 gazers, 2 refineries, 2 command centers, 2 barracks, 2 depots, but only a single academy, of course. Oh, he's making an expo. Alright, that's interesting. He's keeping HamburgerSasu in the dark. HamburgerSasu sees a single Dragoon. Dragoon is just there to kill the SCV, to deny information. So he's going for a singularity charge. I forgot to speed down to normal speed. Alright, now we're at normal speed, because I was still on ×2. But we haven't really had any action yet, so just in time that I realized. Alright, this is quite smart. He's pretty much going for a variation of the build he did beat HamburgerSasu with earlier. Dragoons, but he's doing Dragoons after the +1 Nexus. Right, so he's just going to ball up a couple of Dragoons, wait for singularity charge. HamburgerSasu this time around is going to make a choke. Is he going to make depots? He's going to make depots, not bunkers. That might be a crucial error. Right, he scanned the base. He still sees this. He didn't scout this portion. So he could assume that there are robotic facilities being made here, which they aren't. Robotic facility is being made there. Alright, so he knows robotic facility being made there, because he scanned that one. He scans again. He scans the front. Sees no robotic facilities here, or any units, or any gateways, or anything whatsoever. So I assume he knows something's up. Alright, he walks his 2 Marines right into those Dragoons. He's got 2 bunkers. He canceled the depots. He adapted quite well. So 2 depots. He's going to repair the depots. The Dragoon range will be tearing through that bunker right before it gets repaired to full HP, or right before those SCVs arrive to keep it alive. And the other bunker also goes down before the SCVs get to repair it. And now he's just going to have to micro backwards and kill those SCVs, kill those Marines. And 1vs1z has pretty much already won the game, because siege mode is on the way, but siege mode has not finished yet. He's got no Marines left, because all of his Marines died there in the front. He's making a cheeky bunker there in the front, but it's just going to get ignored by 1vs1z. 1vs1z migrates his way in. Siege mode is on the way though, but there's no way he's going to keep the tank alive there in the back. He managed to move it all the way to the back. He's now repairing it. But now Dragoons are firing on the tank, and the tank goes down faster. Oh, the tank stays alive. The tank miraculously stays alive. But this tank is going to go down for sure. And more Dragoons come streaming in from 1vs1z. 1vs1z just now has to keep attacking the sides here and prevent any more tanks from finishing. He's mismicroing a little bit, sending him a little bit too far. But he just has to focus on this factory, take down the factory, deny any more tanks from coming out. And he'll have won the game. You can even move up and kill these depots there. You can kill these barracks. Tank got moved up to the front. That's a very greedy move from HamburgerSasu there, because now 1vs1z can just micro forward and focus on the tank. Tank goes down, and 1vs1z has effectively beaten HamburgerSasu at this point in the game. He's going to focus on the bunker. Bunker gets repaired. Bunker stays alive. Bunker goes down. I clicked on it just a little bit too late. Now the other bunker is going to go down to the Dragoons. More Dragoons rendezvousing with the Dragoons already in there. And yeah, now the SCVs are the last line of defense. Throws down the scans. He scanned all over the map, but never managed to find the Expo. He barely, he's inches away from seeing the pylon here and knowing that there was an Expo. But this is a really well executed Expo from 1vs1zzzzz here, keeping HamburgerSasu in the dark. HamburgerSasu just kept all of the information based on what he saw here, then saw that there was nothing here, and he assumed shit was about to hit the fan. And he was a little bit too late in responding to the shit that hit the fan. And 1vs1zzzzz pulls off win number 3 with HamburgerSasu, although all of his wins were with the Protoss. I mean, both players have pretty much only won with Protoss. Well, there was a ZVT in there too, and that was for HamburgerSasu. Alright, Hamburger image back up. Hamburger, not hamburger, hamburger. Now let's go to game number 6. So far, this is a pretty exciting series. A little bit unorthodox, but a pretty good series. Right, I'm gonna grab a glass of water to help myself through game number 6. But I will spoil, game number 6 is a PvT with HamburgerSasu once again on the Terran and 1vs1zzzzz on the Protoss. Alright, be right back. Now, what was about 2 minutes for me was probably a second or 2 for you. But let's get game number 6. Game number 6 on the way. HamburgerSasu and 1vs1zzzzz. HamburgerSasu is not this player. This player is 1vs1zzzzz. White Protoss. Bottom of the map. Once again, same spot. Pretty much the same spots, but mirrored in relation to last game. HamburgerSasu top left corner this time, not the top right corner. And how will this game play out? It's going to speed it up to the 2-minute mark, so we don't have to wait too long for the game to progress into the next stage. Single pylon is going to save up minerals for a Nexus or so, I assume. A little bit faster. Nexus. It is. 2 barracks is here for HamburgerSasu. SCV scouting, alright, so he's doing the standard stuff as always. 2 barracks is very confident in his marine micro ability. But we've already seen twice that perhaps he should play it a little bit safer. Just a little bit safer. But maybe he shouldn't. Maybe it's more exciting for us if he plays it a little bit riskier. Alright, so there's 2 cannons gonna come down here in the front. Starting with a single cannon, of course, and the second cannon is gonna come out a little later. He's keeping the probe there for cannon number 2. SCV finds 1vs1zzzz's base. This probe is scouting the wrong side of the map. SCV goes in. It's not gonna damage the cannons in the front, as some players would like to do when they're close to the Protoss, but he's not close, he's far away. So the SCV is just gonna get information. Started 2 gas right at the start. 2 cannons are about to finish up. Goes for his cybernetics core. But this time around there's no Expo for 1vs1zzzzz, so no cheeky Dragoons coming from an Expo this time around. HamburgerSasu already adding on his double command center because he knows there's no units on the map for 1vs1zzzzz. So he stops marine production, adds 2 command centers, adds 2 command centers, adds 2 gas, and once again he's got 2 of everything, plus 2 CC, 2 gas, 2 barracks, 2 depots, same as last game. Even 2 marines, so everything comes in pairs of 2. 2 gateways, 2 nexus, 2 cannons, sadly a lot more pylons, and 2 assimilators. Both players liking the number 2, but only a single Citadel of Doom. For obvious reasons, of course, because you wouldn't want more than 1. SCV still alive. Dragoon on the way, ready to snipe the SCV. This is pretty much a repeat, aside from the proxy gateways. This is pretty much a repeat. Oh, the SCV goes a little bit too close to the cannons. Flew a little bit too close to the sun. Burns its wings, falls down, crashes and burns. Marines there in the front, just aiming to keep anything out. More Marines on the way. It's got stim upgrade on the way soon as well. Factory on the way there. There's the supply they need, and the command center as well. Robotics facility on the way here. Templar's Archive. That's, he's not going for the Reaver frontal attack. He's gonna go for Dark Templars, most likely. Zealots there in the Dragoon in the front there. He managed to kill 2 of those Marines, but I think a single Dragoon went down there as well, though I don't see a body. So I assume nothing went down. Perhaps it was a Zealot. Because I don't see the Zealot he had anywhere anymore, so the Zealot must have gone down there at the fight. Medics on the way, Engineering Bay on the way, Barracks is being added on, 2 scans on the way as well. There is a stim upgrade on the way, and he's going to start his choke with 2 depots, because this time around, he is confident that there's no more Dragoons on the way to finish him off like last time around. Because he already saw the Citadel of a Dune before the SCV died. He saw the robotics before the SCV died, so he knows nothing shady is up this time around. 4 Dark Templars are quite shady though. But because he used his scan, he sees the Dark... If he was looking, he saw the 2 Dark Templars spawn. If he wasn't looking, which he most likely was not, he did not see those 2 Dark Templars spawn. But it is safe to assume Dark Templars are on the way, so there is going to be a turret here in the front as well. But he's going to fly those Dark Templars into the base without... Ooh, he's making an... Is he trying to go for mind control later into the game? That's a really early Dark Archon there. No mind control on the way though. The 2 Dark Templars being dropped here inside of HamburgerSasu space. They're on the side. And they bugged out. Alright, now I can see one. Alright, I can see both again. So this one is going to go for the minerals. Just have scan. He's going to lose a couple of his SCVs before this respawn. But he responds now. He now knows that there is a Dark Templar at his main. Goes in, scans it, but he already lost 4 Dark Templars, 4 SCVs to the Dark Templar. Maybe 5. Not sure. It takes 2 hits to kill his SCV for Dark Templar. So it's not as fast as it would be with other races. Shuttle here getting information on the turrets there on the side. Shuttle here is going to fly in on the other end and try to land his Dark Templars on this side of the base. But that's going to be quite cheesy. It's quite cheesy and cheeky. He unloads just outside of the range of anything. But he does have a scan, and that's 4 Dark Templars right into those Marines, and all Dark Templars go down. He did kill about 4 Marines though, but that's not as many as you want to kill when you do a Dark Templar drop inside the enemy base. Honestly, it was already quite too late, because he already knew that there were that many... Alright, he's got mind control on the way. Mind control ability is on the way. And there should be a Dark there's a Dark Archon, but these HamburgerSasu is going for the tank drop. And honestly, this portion here is unprotected by cannons, but he's going to try to go from the bottom side. He scans, gets himself information, knows that he can land here. Well, some is going to load about there. This one's going to get 7 kills, and the other one got, I don't know how many kills, because I didn't have it selected. I wasn't looking at the probes either. But I assume he killed about 10 or 12 probes there. Maybe, yeah, 10 or 12 probes. Not as many as he wanted. 1vs1zzzzz responded quite well, pulling his probes to safety. Did he get the mind control? He hasn't gotten the mind control yet. There's no shuttle speed yet, but shuttle speed is on the way. He's got Psionic Storm on the way as well. But I honestly think 1vs1zzzzz made a huge mistake going for those Dark Templars and going for the mind control and the Dark Archon. Because he is giving his opponent a lot of time to just do as he pleases. Another Dark Templar gets scanned, instantly dies. And once again, nothing has been achieved for 1vs1zzzzz. I am starting to think this player is Kimki-san. Because this is more or less how Kimki-san plays. It's creative. It's creative. It's out there. And it's it tends to backfire from time to time because he's trying to force something that he shouldn't be forcing. For example, he's going to try to force these shuttles in under the protection of a Corsair. Corsair's here. Now also loading up Templars. He's going to load these Zealots as well. But anyway, he's going to try to get one of those SCVs mind controlled, pick them up with one of the shuttles. And yeah, he's just focusing on the mind control way too much. Alright, so he's got to drop here on the bottom side. He's trying to clear out a vision from HamburgerSasu with those Dragoons on the sides. But the HamburgerSasu already has a Valkyrie. Got a lot of Marines here around his main command center. There's a single SCV there on the side. One SCV there on the side. He's got 4 armories on the way at the same time. So there's a lot of upgrading he's going to be doing. Alright, bottom drop goes in. Only a single Valkyrie there to intercept it. He's going to unload it on the low ground. He's going to unload his Templars on the low ground and force all of those. Ooh, ooh, did he get it? Did he get it? He did not get the SCV. He did manage to load it up, but the SCV died inside of the shuttle. There's too many turrets there, no Corsair. Well, the Corsair probably went down. Anyway, these Templars are just standing there. HamburgerSasu is not planning on letting his Marines get stormed, so he's sending in 2 of them, 3 of them. Smart, not sending in all of his Marines, just using 3, making sure those Templars can't get anything done. And shuttle going in over the top side of the map. Because that's its trajectory. Plan trajectory. Barracks is now being lifted up, going to the sides, getting him vision. So you can see here. Shuttle there on the top side. Kimki-san is regretting his choice to go for Dark Archons because honestly, this is the scariest phase of the game when you're playing against HamburgerSasu. Shuttle makes it all the way to this point. Not to here, just to here. Dies just the last shot of this turret, manages to take it down. Yeah, this is one of the most uneventful games. 1vs1z is trying a lot of different things. But they're too niche to ever work, basically. Very niche stuff. 88 SCVs for HamburgerSasu. He's got 4 command centers. He's not going to be in danger of losing those anytime soon. Because 1vs1z is not trying to threaten him all that much. He's adding on to his base, but he's only got 62 probes. He's not really adding on more probes. He's supply stuck. Things are looking dire here for 1vs1z. Loading up shuttles now. Single Wraith there on the middle, finds a probe, gonna chase down that probe, another probe here on the top side, he's gonna try to make cannons there on the side. But I think HamburgerSasu is not gonna give him the chance because HamburgerSasu is now maxed out. And 1vs1z, only on 63 probes, once again supply stuck. He scanned the base, got vision of the entire base, knows exactly what 1vs1z has. 1vs1z is now sending in a drop over the top side. This one will probably make it through. There's a lot of Marines. Ooh, he's unloading it there on the side. He could have honestly flown it all the way, but he's going to storm on those Marines. He managed to kill pretty much all of the Marines there, but there's still a couple of Marines. Alright, now the remainder of those Marines are going down. Now the Zealots are going to run them down and finish off the remainder. But this opens up some supply space. Some supply space for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu can now replace those dead Marines with tanks. And he, as I said, he sees that he has the opportunity to go for the offense now because he's big. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13 factories and 5 starports. But he doesn't need the starports because he's not being threatened by any of those drops. Honestly, 1vs1z is giving HamburgerSasu one of the most free games I've ever seen in my life. HamburgerSasu held really well. But 1vs1z not managing to deal any damage because he's selling himself short. Honestly, he is selling himself short. Tanks sieging up. Zealots are on the way, but those Zealots are not gonna do much because those... Oh, this is what happens when you try to unload too many Zealots into a shuttle. Zealots are going to chase the shuttle around the map. And that's what happened there. They chased the shuttle and killed themselves. Shuttles make it... Well, oh, the shuttle gets a storm out. The Templars get storms off on all the SCVs he had on the minerals there. Only 46 SCVs left. 10 on the minerals. But HamburgerSasu is rich. He's got a lot of tanks on the middle. He's got vultures there as well. He can spend all of his minerals on pretty much any mech he wants. He doesn't even need any more SCVs because he's already in a position where he can threaten 1vs1z way too hard. And 1vs1z now loading up more shuttles. He's going to try to... Ooh. Smart move from HamburgerSasu, making sure he pulls his Valkyrie so he can take down those shuttles. But those shuttles flying around. Those shuttles now unloading on top of those tanks. But there's wait. Ooh, he storms on top of the hill but misses the tank. And yeah, that pretty much failed really, really hard. Fell flat on his belly. And 1vs1z now just has to keep balling up his units, but he's only got 0-0-1 upgrades against 1-1 tank upgrades from HamburgerSasu and 0-1 marine upgrades. And those tanks up on the hill are gonna be devastating. He does manage to kill the frontal part here for HamburgerSasu, but those zealots are too small in number. And there's Dark Templars in the mix, but there's also vessels. So the Dark Templars wind up just being a waste of minerals and gas. And this is the end for 1vs1z. There's more units are on the way here for HamburgerSasu. He's still mining with only 10 SCVs, but he's got a lot of minerals to throw here. Zealot's being loaded on the hill. Both tanks go down, but there's still a tank on the other one. Zealot unloads. Zealot takes on the tank. Alright, all the tanks on the hill have been cleared out. And there might be a very, very minuscule chance that 1vs1z managed to push himself out of this sticky situation. Not anymore though, because there's a lot of vultures just rendezvousing, entering the battle. The tanks have been sieged up. There's no units anywhere here. Pretty much the only units 1vs1z has are inside of those gateways. 1vs1z really fluked this game. Flunked it. Flunked, that's the word. He flunked this game insanely hard. A player of his level should know better than to do whatever he just tried to do. He played right into all the strengths a Terran has, which is basically letting them build in peace. And he calls GG or whatever that means. It's not a GG, definitely not, but it means something. So yeah, HamburgerSasu pulls himself ahead 3-3 because this was game number 6. Score is 3-3. And whoever wins will be decided in the next 2 games. Because there's 8 replays. So this has to be the best of 9. So let's see how that's going to play out. Oh, the image. Oh, maybe you would like to see this. Bam. Bam. And lastly this one. But this statistic's not very significant. Not very significant. Image. Hamburger versus 1vs1z. Sleeping. Alright. Game number 7. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss with HamburgerSasu once again on the Zerg. So it's pretty much this 1vs1z on the Protoss for the last couple of games. And yeah, let's get this started. Load up the game. And hope. Pray to God that 1vs1z is not gonna do another one of those weird, wacky, wafing builds that he's been doing so far every single game of the series. Score 3-3. HamburgerSasu on the Z, 1vs1z on the P, the top middle of the map, and HamburgerSasu on the middle right spot, which is saying a lot, but let's see what he's got. 1vs1z is going for a 7-9 pylon and a gateway, followed by another gateway, which will then of course be followed by gateway number 3. So he's planning on having that first zealot out earlier, but the second and third zealot will be out a little bit later. But he's banking on having that very first zealot dealing significant amounts of damage to HamburgerSasu here. He has found HamburgerSasu's location. He sees this hatchery in the choke. He sees the pool. HamburgerSasu immediately they're trying to probe micro against drone micro. But the drone actually gets a hit off first. And now they're not even microing, they're just attacking. Alright, the drone runs away. Drone wants to stay alive. Drone tries to make a hatchery, but the hatchery gets cancelled. The probe deals a lot of damage to the drone. Drone gets pulled to safety. A little bit of micro battle going on here. But eventually, this friendly probe, drone friend number 1, forces the probe away. But that's a delay on this +1 hatchery, +2. I personally never count this one, but I should count it because it's a hatchery all and on its own. Probe barely stays alive. Choke hatchery finishes. Zealot is on the way. 6 Zerglings are on the way. Creep colony starts just in time before the Zealot arrives, but the Zealot is gonna just ignore that and go straight for the other one. And he keeps on the nice reaction from 1vs1z. But now that single Zealot is meeting 6 Zerglings. The 2 more Zealots are on the way here, ready to attack the Sunken in the front. But HamburgerSasu has to protect his drones from this Zealot here in the back, so he can. Another Zealot makes its way through. Zealot number 3 also makes its way through. But it's 3 Zealots against at least 10 Zerglings, 12 Zerglings. And he didn't add on the 3rd gateway. He added on a cybernetic core instead. Forge and gas. Fight in the base happening still here. And he tries to go for a drone. He tries to go for another drone, but also he managed to kill a single drone. But the other drone got pulled to safety. Great pull on those drones. Now the Zealot made its way through. The Zealot is pretty close to death. And 4 Zerglings managed to escape. And he knows where 1vs1z is located, so he's just gonna go straight for 1vs1z's base. And he finds a cannon there. There's only a single Dragoon there protecting, but the Dragoon is in hold position. The Dragoon is now being pulled back. Zealot's attacking the Zealot Zerglings. The cannon got cancelled. More Zerglings are now on the way because he cleared out his base. Oh wait, no. There's still a single Zealot in the base there, but the Zealot now gets cleared out. Those Zerglings still running around trying to cancel cannons. 7S robotic facility has finished up. More Zerglings now entering the base for 1vs1z, but those Zerglings are meeting 6 are meeting 2 Zealots and a single Dragoon. But he's got free fire on this robotic facility there on the corner. On the edge of 1vs1z's base. More Zerglings are on the way. He's added on a gas. He's focusing on the micro here really well. He's trying to take down that robotic facility, but he's not managing to. Now he's going to try to go for the tank, but he fails to go for the tank. 2 more Zealots have spawned. 1vs1z pulled off his probes to protect the cannon, but the cannon is completely safe. So I assume he's going to try to go for this robotic facility next, but it's protected. 1vs1z placing his Zealots around the robotic facility really well. Reaver is on the way. Shield is finished up. Another cannon on the way there on the side as well. He's added on another hatchery. He's not added any more Sunkens there in the front. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do now. Alright, he's going to go for Hydralisk then. He's going to try to go for the Mass Hydra on just 3 hatcheries. If we ignore the frontal one. But 4 hatcheries in total. Right, he's gonna try to go for the robotics, but there's a cannon there. Zealots and Dragoon moving up just in time as well. Even pull 2 probes protected. And the Zerglings now running away. Shuttle has done some recon on the front here. He knows that there's 2 Sunkens there. He doesn't know there's a Hydralisk then already up. Another hatchery being added on. Single Sunken around the main. Reaver has finished. Reaver's being flown all the way across the map. He's gonna unload the Reaver here on this side, or maybe he's gonna pick up 2 Zealots first and unload them along with 2 Zealots, with the Reaver. Oh, he's gonna smart little fast move he did there. Unloads the Reaver, lands 4 Zealots first. Now he's gonna pick up the Reaver. Oh, he's gonna pick up the Dragoon and the Zealots first. But this gives time for the Hydralisk to unload to finish up. But this is 7 Hydralisks against 6 Zealots, or single Reaver and a Dragoon. And if he can manage to pull off some great Reaver micro, he might just win the game here and turn this into a 4-3 series. But more Hydralisks are finishing up. There's a lot of Zealots, a lot of... Ooh, he gets some damage off on the Reaver. Reaver only kills a single Hydralisk with the Scarab. Scarab kills again a single Hydralisk. He hasn't bothered firing on the drones. He spreads out his Hydras. 1vs1z tries to go for it, but oh, he managed to save the Reaver. HamburgerSasu, oh, he loses all of his drones to the Scarab there. Great move from 1vs1z. 1vs1z is putting on some really great stuff here. Keeps the Reaver alive, and the Reaver gets picked up by the shuttle. Whew. I didn't expect this game to go this way. But 1vs1z, his builds are wacky as hell, but they do some amazing stuff. That was some amazing stuff from 1vs1z. Wacky as hell, but really well executed. I'm a little bit impressed. HamburgerSasu did his best to try and stop this from happening, but the control here on the side from 1vs1z was amazing, using his zealots to function as a wall, putting them on hold position, so that if HamburgerSasu tried to focus on the Reaver, his Hylas would have to first pretty much be in melee range of the zealots, and then he'd just pick it up, and the Hylas would take damage. Great stuff. Great, amazing stuff. Right, so there's one more game in the queue. And I'll admit, a Protoss versus Zerg is honestly in favor of the Protoss by significant amounts. So I'm not sure why 1vs1z has been picking just Protoss for the last 5 games. But for the last game, which is going to be a really long one, they're going to be the grand finale. We've got 1vs1z back on the Terran, and HamburgerSasu playing the Protoss. And this is going to be a long one, so hang in there with me. I know we've already been at it for over an hour. This is going to be a little of a longer game, but this should be an amazing game, because both these players are very high level players, and I've already seen from the very first game, 1vs1z has a really good Terran. His Terran is really good, but HamburgerSasu also has an amazing Protoss. Amazing Protoss. As we've already seen from the very first game. The only game he played Protoss, but now he's back on the Protoss for game number 8. He's banking on getting this series back on track in his favor. The score is 4-3 in favor of 1vs1zzz. And HamburgerSasu, the blue Protoss this game, on the opposite side of the map, has only 3 wins. So it's very close to ending. Well, I might have already spoiled the result by saying this is the last game. Maybe HamburgerSasu wins. Maybe they're going to end it on 4-4. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't a best of 9. Maybe they were just playing a set of games for fun. Regardless, HamburgerSasu goes for the exact same build from game 1. Nexus, 3 gateways, pylon, gas soon. Gas comes out very soon. 1vs1c, 2 barracks, 2 depots, single gas, single command center, and a single academy. 1 marine scouting over there, 1 SCV scouting on the other side, 1 probe scouting for HamburgerSasu. There's the gas. They're just standing there, menacingly, ready to intercept this probe. Probe is on the other side of the map now. Went to the wrong side. It's going to have to go this way, but it's going to die or get pulled away just in time once it finds the location where 1vs1z is located. There's another probe sent out. 2 zealots have finished. 1 more is on the way. There's a cybernetics core. No forge. No choke yet. 5 marines are in the front. Academy is finished. Stimmer brigade is on the way. 2 medics now being queued up. Zealots are moving out, ready to fight. Or just scouting, but also ready to fight. But the main goal is scouting. He finds the marines. Marines get some damage down on the zealot. Zealot loses 60 of its shield. Rendezvous with the rest of its friends. Another gas has been added on. No cannons in the choke yet. He's relying on those zealots. 5 zealots. 1vs1z is planning on going aggressive once those 2 medics rendezvous with the marines. Right, single zealot gets cut out there. But it's 6 Zealots against 9 Marines, and 2 Medics. Stim upgrade is almost finished. He's going to wait for the stim upgrade and then stim his way back into those Zealots. Try to get some damage down. And rely on his micro to Firebats entering the fray. Stim upgrade is finished and he manages to get his Firebats right in there in time. Those Zealots get a great start on those Marines, but the Zealots wind up biting the dust. Mario gets his Marines back with the stim. Zealot's still alive, and he gets it down eventually. But this means that HamburgerSasu will maybe not have enough time to get his cannons up here in front. He will not have enough time if 1vs1z doesn't give him time. But 1vs1z is going to have to give him some time because there's now 3 more Zealots, 6 Zealots in total, ready to fight this mass here. Small amount of units. And he does manage to buy himself enough time. Those cannons are going to finish. So this will wind up working. Everything winds up working just fine. Gonna put some Marines on that gateway in the front. He's got stim upgrade on the way now as well. He's adding on a barracks, he's adding on an engineering bay, adding on a command center. And he's flying over a barrack, trying to sneak some Firebats onto those probes here. And if it works, 1vs1z might just turn the game into his favor and put an end to HamburgerSasu's life here. But it's not yet happening. Still on the way. He hasn't seen it yet. He barely saw it. Right, Firebat makes its way in, but dies just prior to reaching his destination, aka safety. But it dies. Robotic support bay and speed on the way. Citadel of Doom is finishing up. Shell has finished. Reaver should be queued up in a bit as well. He's got a level 1 weapon upgrade on the way. 1 Zealot's on the way. And Firebat's just slowly standing there, menacingly. Preparing themselves. They go in, stimming up. All the probes get pulled off the minerals. And HamburgerSasu loses a couple of his probes, right? There's 3. 3 have gone down in total. Now his Firebats have put... Oh, he managed to kill another 2. But HamburgerSasu manages to keep most of his probes alive. Another Firebat has spawns. Firebat is gonna kamikaze its way in. It gets blocked by the Zealots. And that's the end of the story. No big results here for 1vs1z. HamburgerSasu is now placing his Zealots closer to his workers to make sure he can intercept the Firebat. Firebat's trying to go around. Firebat can find a way in. 1vs1z is trying to circle his way around, but HamburgerSasu moves his Zealots along accordingly really, really well. I was going to try going from 2 sides at the same time. There's another Firebat is finished. He's going to go in, but HamburgerSasu blocks both Firebats. Ooh, that was really close. Really close. He's going to keep on making Firebats until the barrack dies. Gotta try again. Here he goes. He's really keeping HamburgerSasu busy, but HamburgerSasu has been spending... Ooh, this one makes its way through. It gets... Bam! Kills! Ooh! That's painful. That's painful. Killed... I think he killed about 20 there. I think he killed about 20 probes there, so that's... After trying for like 2 minutes, he manages to finally get a shot on those probes. HamburgerSasu playing it really, really, really risky. Not making a cannon to just ensure that his probes are not going to die. He finally gets the cannon up there, but the cannon is way too late. He tried to rely on just his Zealots, but 1vs1z manages to pull it off. But 1vs1z is now in risk. He's getting attacked. Wait, what's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? What? HamburgerSasu? What are you doing? What are you doing? He never actually found 1vs1z, so he has no clue where 1vs1z is on the map. I never picked up on this fact, that he never ever even found where 1vs1z is located. This is disastrous. If he had just sent them in to the right location right from the start, he might have been able to break through and deal some significant damage to 1vs1z, but now 1vs1z has managed to get all of the depots up, all of the bunkers up, the siege tank in the back, the bunkers filled up with Marines. This is frustrating to watch, but that could have been a great turnaround. It's going to take a while to get those depots down. A lot of those Zealots have gone down now. Reaver's firing on the Marines and the bunkers, and 1vs1z holds. He holds the attack without losing all that much. HamburgerSasu could have focused on the tanks there, or well, anything really. That was never going to work anymore because 1vs1z just had too much time to prep his front. HamburgerSasu knew, 1vs1z knew it was coming because he had an engineering bay hanging there inside of HamburgerSasu's base. So we knew the frontal attack was going to happen sometime in the near future. Really unfortunate for HamburgerSasu. Really unfortunate. Going to the wrong side of the map. And now this means that the game is going into late game. So 1vs1z is not going for the extended amounts of pressure. He's not putting any pressure on HamburgerSasu. Some players would elect to just, you know, rush another tank drop, get more damage out on those probes, or just go for a frontal attack with marines and tanks and try to push in. But 1vs1z is playing it safe, just building up his base, adding on, there's a dropship, he's going for the tank drop after all. But it's a little bit late, in my honest opinion. And HamburgerSasu is already spreading his dragoons out on the sides to deny this. He's going to hang over the hill, those dragoons can fire on it. But also gives him vision of anything leaving the sides of 1vs1z's base. Dragoon there has the same function. He uses his scan, scans the front, sees that there's only a single robotic facility there, no shuttles, single reaver, couple of units. He's got some crucial information. He knows he is not in danger of getting dropped anytime soon, just yet. Storm upgrade is on the way for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu already starting Stargates. He's going straight for the carriers because he knows that he needs those carriers in this situation. Because 1vs1z is going to have too much time completely untouched. He also added on an extra nexus to recover his economy with. As you can see, already back on 50 against 60. But 1vs1z make a lot of starports here. Going to make a lot of raids to intercept those shuttles. There is the tank. Firebats and a tank in that dropship. So the tank is just going to take the brute force. There is... Oh, wait. The cannon is out of the range. It kills nothing. Firebats on the low ground now. Trying to kill stuff. But the Firebats on the low ground not really achieving much. Probes get pulled back to the minerals. Is 1vs1z going to try to unload those Firebats right on top? Probes are quite well protected by his zealots and the cannon there. I don't think it's going to work. But he's going to try. It's going to work. It's going to work. He manages to unload and he gets his shut off. And he kills 4. Alright, he killed 4 or 6. It's something. Managed to at least get something out of it. Not much. But he kept HamburgerSasu busy there. Forced HamburgerSasu to pull his probes off his minerals. Buys himself a little bit of time by putting the focus on HamburgerSasu instead of on himself. Great stuff. Great stuff from 1vs1z. The amount of raids is already piled up. And once his wave finishes, he'll be almost on 12 raids in total to defend himself with Command Center number 4 coming down to get the last couple of gas there. A lot of marines spread out all over his base. He's only on 2 factories, but he's just focusing on defending and getting big. But by defending and getting big, he's also giving HamburgerSasu a lot of time to rebuild. HamburgerSasu already carry capacity on the way. Engineering Bay getting attacked. Raids moving in to kill the Dragoon. And 1vs1z now has both weapon for air and tanks on the way. Now making more depots. Not yet making any armories in addition to the ones he already has. So no armor upgrades for his air and tanks coming in anytime soon. HamburgerSasu managed to build his way back up to almost a max Psi. But he's... yeah, that's the carriers that mostly fill up his Psi. Going to try to go for somewhat of a frontal attack here. Just going to try to storm or break the front here. Storm the marines, storm the tank. Tear down those depots. There's a shuttle there as well. But the shuttle won't achieve much because there's raids there as well. Raids are going to go for the shuttle, I assume. Although, no, he decides not to go for it, but he can't see the shuttle. He cannot see the shuttle. Right. Like, it's a small little bit. People there on the bottom side for drop dodges. HamburgerSasu is just deciding to go for straight for carriers, completely ignoring drop chances. Oh, great storm on those marines, but 1vs1z is just sacrificing marines at this point to open up supply space because he got maxed out. And once you're maxed out, you're going to replace your marines with mech, with tanks, with siege tanks, raids as well. And thanks to the use of his scans, he knows that HamburgerSasu is going for those carriers here. Just balling up a lot of his raids. Might even go for an EMP and a vessel. He's not making a vessel. Sometimes some players like to go for mass raids and then just go straight for the Nexus with an EMP. 1vs1z has different plans. He's flying his raids all around the map, very cleanly and neatly avoiding the front here. He's gonna get spotted, maybe by this Corsair. He's gonna try to kill those carriers the moment they finish. And here the raids are entering the base. He's going for the carriers. Carriers are protected, no detection whatsoever, no interceptors in those carriers either. Mind control's on the way, as a side note. But 4 of the carriers already went down. Now he's gonna go for the main Nexus. He's outside of the detection range of the cannons. Luckily for HamburgerSasu, cannons are finishing up now, so now he's switching over to the carriers, kills another carrier. Now he's flying back out. And HamburgerSasu once again gets another carrier. Ooh, almost gets picked off. Storm comes down on the raids, but the raids dodge the storm very, very quickly and rapidly. Now 1vs1z is just looking for something else to attack. With his raids, there's a Corsair. Corsair goes down, and now his raids return to base. But they're also going to clear out these Dragoons on the side there. So not much is happening, but a lot is happening as well. 1vs1z is really, once again, slowing HamburgerSasu down significantly. But HamburgerSasu made a bunch of Corsairs in response. Corsairs are amazing against raids. And 1vs1z now just happens to have his raids on the other side of the map. He's going to try to hunt for those Templars that he saw with his scan. HamburgerSasu throws down storms, but the raids have already left. This is quite a tense game. He's going for another reach around because those carriers are about to finish, and he knows they are about to finish. So at this point, 1vs1z is kind of, I wouldn't say toying, but he's somewhat toying by being passive, not going aggressive. He's waiting for tanks to... he's waiting for factories to finish, but he's not really finishing up his factory. He's playing around with his raids, snipes the observer, great scan, kills a carrier. Second carrier goes down as... well, no, it stays alive. Wait, it went down? It went down, alright. We killed 2 carriers, lost a couple of raids, killed an observer. Great pickup for 1vs1z, slows HamburgerSasu down once again, but HamburgerSasu... it's gotta be frustrating for HamburgerSasu, losing his carriers every single time around. Now he's finally adding cannons in between the pylons to protect those carriers. But too much time has already elapsed. On both sides, honestly, because 1vs1z is not... 1vs1z is being proactive, but he's also giving HamburgerSasu a lot of time to just build up his base. And he isn't threatening him, because he's just standing there, waiting, while his raids keep slowing HamburgerSasu down. But inadvertently, he's also slowing himself down by not going aggressive. Templars there, ready to take down the raids, but nothing there. He's storming nothing. I assume he's waiting for the raids to come in and take down the Templars up on the hill. 1vs1z not doing any of that. He lost a depot, so he's no longer on max supply. HamburgerSasu sends in a Reaver. Reaver just walks to his death. A little bit of an oversight. Mismanagement. Now Marines are moving out. Marines are going to be sacrificed to the holy cannon gods because he needs that supply space for tanks. These are going down. Tanks are going to get queued up. He's now making Valkyries as well. And he sees that there are cannons being made on the side. He's using his raids to take down those cannons. A little bit of a slow process, and there's honestly a lot of cannons here, so those raids will not be finished in time. Will not finish this job in time. And those cannons will be finished just in time. Alright, Phrase might go to the side a little bit to take care of the last cannon there, but Corsairs coming in. An instantaneous cloak. But there's observers now. Now, raids are just flying into HamburgerSasu's base, ready to sacrifice themselves, while potentially also getting some damage down on those carriers. Carriers being moved to the cannons for detection. Raids flying into the detection range, and the raids go down. And now we're back in a stalemate, somewhat. Or a neutral state, more so. Yeah, let's call it a neutral state. We're in a neutral state of the game. Entirely because 1vs1z has not chosen to go aggressive whatsoever. At least, he's been aggressive. He's been trying to deny HamburgerSasu offensive capabilities instead of trying to punish HamburgerSasu for losing so many probes. So, yeah, he's just sitting there, basically. And HamburgerSasu is one of the players that I honestly don't think it's smart against to just sit in your base and let him build. 1vs1z just taking his time. Making sure he's got every single building he needs. He's got all the little spots and dots and spaces in his base filled out with at least a building or a turret. And that's a massive amount of Valkyries. But HamburgerSasu's got an Arbiter. Arbiter has 75 energy, but it does have stasis upgrade. It has recall upgrade, but it's definitely going to go for the stasis. Templar there, storm a couple of raids, but the storms kind of get wasted. Arbiter just hanging there in the back. Raids coming in to kill those interceptors. Turrets helping those interceptors go down as well. Goliaths and tanks here in the front. 1vs1z is now deciding to move out, because he knows he is big enough, although it did take him 19 minutes to reach this point, while being completely untouched. So he did take a little bit too much time, a lot of bank floating around. HamburgerSasu pulls back his carriers. He's gonna rendezvous with 4 more carriers. He's gonna, ooh, great EMP coming down from 1vs1z there. I just spotted it right in the nick of time. So all the shields on those carriers have gone down. I mean, for a lot of those carriers, the shields were already down, but a couple of those carriers still had shields, or shields restoring themselves. Anyway, great EMP, although the effect is somewhat diminished. That's a lot of Valkyries, honestly. A lot of Valkyries. Alright, the front here is being pushed out. HamburgerSasu wants to start pressuring the side there. He's got 2 of those Arbiters there in the back. He's got nothing to recall, so he's going for the stasis on those Valkyries, but those Valkyries are spread out somewhat nicely. A couple of them on the top there, a couple of them on the bottom side there. Who's going to require 2 of those stasis to take them down. The shield better is being made here to restore the shields. So now the EMPs will come in very handy. The front is being pushed out here. Tanks sieging up on those cannons, taking those cannons down, slowly making his way out of the base. HamburgerSasu here on the top side, waiting, biding his time for the second attack here. He's managed to clear out a couple of turrets, so it's a little bit easier than it was in the past. Now the Arbiters are coming in. Arbiter gets the stasis up on a couple of those Valkyries, but there's only 5 Valkyries there being stasis. Now he's going to use another Arbiter. Or the Arbiter is trying to go in, but 1vs1z knows exactly what HamburgerSasu is up to, so he spreads his Valkyries out here just a little bit, spacing them from side to side, making sure that this Arbiter will not be able to take all of them down with a stasis. Tanks in the front here being unsieged and resieged, ready to take down the remaining cannons. And HamburgerSasu pulls back, knowing he's taken out a couple of depots, a couple of armories, and all of the turrets are on the side. He's now probably gonna re-shield his carriers. Oh, the shield is, well, it's decent. It's a little bit of shield that he's getting back, about 70 or 80 on each of them. Now Corsairs are entering the mix as well. Corsairs are great against Valkyries, even the condition those Valkyries are stacked up. These Valkyries are spread out really nicely, although if he manages to stay this middle one, he can pretty much get, or he gets the top side of those Valkyrie group. If he managed to get the middle one, he could have gotten all of them into a stasis. But now another Arbiter comes in, got energy. Now all the Arbiters have been stasis, no Arbiters left in, no Valkyries left unstasis. But now 1vs1z has to pull back his Goliaths. HamburgerSasu flying his carriers deeper into the base of 1vs1z. There is a command center hanging over. How many command centers are hanging over the real one? That's a lot of command centers, but now this is the real command center, and the real command center is going to go down as well. Now the main has been taken down, the SVs have been stasis, but 1vs1z has got a lot of bank floating, meaning his minerals are not really in danger. So it is a nice pickup that he managed to get the command center, but the middle of the map here has been cleared up, and his base is now being threatened as well. Luckily, most of the carriers are still alive, thanks to the Valkyries being stasis, and just about the time that the Valkyries unstasis, he pulls back to his shield batteries, repairs the shields, but the frontal attack is now happening here in the front. And honestly, 1vs1z doesn't even have to siege up, he can just waltz in there, take down those 3 cannons, but now Dark Templars are on the way. Will 1vs1z scan those Dark Templars in time, or will he lose a couple of them tanks in the process? There's the Fessus hanging there in the back. Neither of them have energy for an EMP, so those shields will remain up for HamburgerSasu, but that now means that HamburgerSasu is forced to stay inside of his base where there are no shield batteries, so no restoring those shields unless he managed to get back up here. If he managed to back up here, if he managed to move back up here with his carriers, it means that 1vs1z can push into the base. A lot of Valkyries there in the back, taking care of those intercepts. A lot of ground units are being made now for HamburgerSasu as well. Got 19 Zealots on the way, a couple of Dark Templars in the mix as well. Got 2 Dark Arbiters on the way too. Killed one of his own probes. because he knows he doesn't need a lot of that gas anymore because he already got 11,000 gas, 16,000 minerals. So he's just banking on getting a huge mass, but so is 1vs1z because he's only got 49 workers. He's going for the storm drop here. That's smart. He's going for the storm drop while using those Templars he had here on the side. Pick up with his shuttle. He's going to go for the drop while also defending his own base. Valkyries there taking care of the interceptors, as I've mentioned before, but now the cores are taking care of the Valkyries. Now the drop is flying in here, but look at this. Surprise for you, HamburgerSasu. 1vs1z doesn't even have any workers on his minerals. He just has SCVs mining gas, I guess. This open up some supply space for 1vs1z to start the push here on the front. The situation is looking dire and more dire by the minute. Although great stasis on those Valkyries. The fact that those Valkyries got pulled back. Goliaths are still on the way. This means that these carriers can clear out the ground force that 1vs1z has here. Those tanks are going down really rapidly. And the air units have been cleared out. The remaining air units, at least the vessels, were cleared out by those Corsairs. The tanks on the side here get cleared out as well. Tanks here get cleared out as well. 1vs1z has to really replenish his SV count really quickly. Because he's gonna race through that 8k minerals really rapidly. Carriers is hanging there in the front. Ground forces supporting them from the ground. But now the carriers are gonna go down. Carriers out there for a little bit too long. The stasis Valkyries there getting unstasis, but they're gonna get taken down by the Corsairs. Tanks there in the back. The Arbiters providing protection. No scan coming out. Corsairs taking down the Valkyries, but the Valkyries now do wind up winning. But a couple of Valkyries went down. HamburgerSasu now relocating his carriers to get them some shields. Which works this time around because there's a lot of zealots here on the low ground for HamburgerSasu ready to buy himself time for those carriers to get their shields back. Shields are back on the carriers. You can see all their shields are back. There's a huge ground mass here for 1vs1z. He's got a lot of Valkyries there as well. And there's no ground force this time around ready to help HamburgerSasu fight off the ground force that 1vs1z has. Those tanks not even sieged up. Now the Valkyries are focusing and firing on the carriers. And carriers are on very low HP. Carrier goes down. Second carrier is very close to dying as well. But now the Goliaths are moving in. They're stepping forward very slowly. The Zealots in the back there grouping up, balling up, now going into the fray. But the interceptors have gone down as well. Alright, a great disruptor web coming down right on the center of that little group of tanks there. More Goliaths there in the back, but those Goliaths are not that great. Those Goliaths are focusing on the interceptors while the Zealots on the ground are taking down the Goliaths. Now more Corsairs entering the mix. Vessel coming in. This situation is looking absolutely amazing for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu managing to go for the counter push. A couple of Valkyries there in the air, but of course is taking care of the Valkyries. Vessel going down as well. HamburgerSasu is winning the ground fight. And 1vs1z does not have any SCVs left in his base. He's got no minerals whatsoever. And this game, after that beautiful start from 1vs1z, he manages to give HamburgerSasu way too much time. And HamburgerSasu then manages to capitalize on having so much time. Goes for the right options. Carriers, manages and handles the carriers really well. And 1vs1z bites off more than he can chew. Takes too much time to build up. While completely unpressured. And HamburgerSasu is going to win this one, without a doubt. There's no way he's going to lose this one. No way. Because it's 200 maxed out supply against 118 supply from 1vs1z. The 1vs1z now managing to take down those low HP carriers that have only their shields to rely on. So he's managed to buy himself some time. A lot of siege tanks now in between those corridors on those tanks. But this might actually turn around. Because this ground force is not going to get in there, not going to break through. Or is it? Goliath being migrated backwards, tanks there in the back, completely safe, taking down the Zealots on the ground. More Dragoons and Zealots are streaming in, but the game is still looking salvageable for 1vs1z, despite the fact that his mass is so much smaller than HamburgerSasu's. So he managed to stay alive, fights off that full attack. HamburgerSasu has carriers on the way, Corsairs on the way. No carrier, alright, one carrier on the way. He finished a couple of carriers, so he's mixing it up. Wave of carriers, wave of Corsairs. there's no air units here for 1vs1z. So the courses are a little bit of a misspending. Did he cancel them? Oh no, they finished that. Alright, so they're going to be coming in, flying over. He might use them just for the disruption web instead. Arbiter there in the back, ready to stasis stuff, or ready to cover and protect those carriers. Carriers have been stacked up really nicely. Carriers are about to go in. Carriers go in. They're just hanging on top of the hill. They cannot get spotted. But 1vs1z has to use the scan to see them. You can see here. Although now he's spotting them, the scan is providing him vision. The carrier is taking some damage from those Goliaths. The Goliaths mostly forced to focus on the interceptors. There's the Arbiter. Carriers are protected once again. And he's just going to try to dwindle down on the numbers of 1vs1z very, very slowly. But I assume there's more Goliaths on the way for 1vs1z. And once he has a big enough amount of Goliaths, it will be possible for him to fight off these carriers. It will be possible. There's a huge mass already here in the front for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu is preparing himself. He's waiting for an opportunity to send his ground mass in. He's taken down a couple of those factories there in the front. Goliaths doing a great job. But he's mostly getting the interceptors. Mostly getting the shields on those carriers. Carriers now getting their shields back up. And HamburgerSasu is just waiting for his units to be ready to go in. 1vs1z biding his time. He's managed to rebuild his SCV stack back to 62. But it doesn't seem to be big enough. Because there's a little bit of distance to cover for those SCVs. And there's honestly a lot of units here for HamburgerSasu. 1vs1z has rebuilt a couple of his Valkyries. And I think... Oh, great disruption webs. But 1vs1z immediately micros out of them. HamburgerSasu is waiting for the recall. Right, he's balling up his units. He's bugging them into each other, clipping them into each other. Arbiter is about to go in, but he's waiting for a good window. And he goes in, and the recall is going to come down right on top of his main on his SUVs. There, Goliath's fighting, and the recall is there. Unit delivery has been achieved. Templars storming on the SUVs. SUVs going down. There's an Archon there in the mix as well. Zealous is clearing out the ground there, and this game is over. 1vs1z has managed to lose a game that was looking so good for him. HamburgerSasu's Protoss is not to be messed with. Definitely not to be messed with. Does he have another storm? He's got another storm. He's going to throw another storm on those SUVs, and this Templar dies just before he can. But the economy of 1vs1z is pretty much completely gone. Because those Zealots there are still alive. So the SUVs cannot fight the Zealots. He calls the end of the game. And HamburgerSasu comes out on top after 31 minutes, 41 seconds, despite losing almost all of his probes in the early game. He manages to make a really good comeback. Really great comeback from HamburgerSasu against 1vs1z. And 1vs1z bites the dust. And the score is 4-4 somehow. And there is no game number 9 for this series. Maybe there is. You know what? I'm gonna just check and see if I mislabeled the game, and see if there's a game number 9 to put an end to the series. It's loading a little bit slow. And there is in fact no game number 9. Just 8 games. Scores 4-4. So they managed to play it into a tie. But pretty much the trend is Protoss wins. Protoss wins. Yeah, Protoss wins. 4-4. Well, thanks for watching, I guess. 4-4. Hope you enjoyed the series between ttukkarandom, aka HamburgerSasu, against 1vs1z, who I assume is Kimki-san. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been able to find out who it is. I'm just going to label that video as 1vs1z. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Very, very long video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, leave a comment. If you didn't, leave a dislike, and have a good day.